everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer and today we are using the Wayne Goss palette, and I also have the new eyeliner. This is the Luxury Eye Palette in Smoky Quartz. If you're interested in seeing that, just stay tuned. Hey everybody, so this is going to be one of my shorter videos. We're going to go through the new Wayne Goss palette. I'm going to show you some swatches and we'll do some comparisons and talk a little bit about the formula and all that jazz. I asked everyone on Instagram whether they wanted me to pick this up. They said yes. You said yes. So I picked it up. I do have two of his former palettes. I have the Pearl Moonstone one and the Imperial Topaz. We'll take a look at the differences between those and the new one, the Smoky Quartz. Also, there's a palette that, it's actually a quad, that popped up in my mind when I saw this color story. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Let's look at the liner really quickly. So this liner is an Essential Eye Kohl pencil. Now I do have a couple of his Eye Kohl pencils. The shade though, this one is Granite. It says it's a cool gray with a matte finish. It's very deep. Okay, so we've got four other ones. We've got Deep Amethyst, which I do like, which is exactly how it sounds. It's Deep Amethyst, which is this one. We have Rich Hazel, which is a really nice deep brown. We have Blue Sapphire. And we have Obsidian. I thought I had Obsidian. I'll put the Obsidian next to this new one. Here's Obsidian. Here's the new one. Graphite, was it? Granite. So there's a new one, Granite. And there's the Obsidian. Yeah, when you space it out a little bit more, you see the grayness to it. Okay. So the pencil is $14, and as you just saw, I have four other ones. I do like the pencils. I do like Kohl pencils. These pencils, I will say, are a little drier than a lot of my other pencils, but I use them for a different purpose, and I'll explain in a minute. And then the eye palette, Smoky Quartz, is $55, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to swatch it. My understanding is the formula is the same as before. I'll let you know if I notice any differences here. I'm just kind of making this like a bigger swatch so you can see it, because this shade is basically the color of my skin. So yeah, you can't really see that one, but it'll be a good under the brow bone kind of thing. That's sort of like a mushroomy tan color. These do have a smokiness to them, like a cooler look to them than I would have expected looking at the pictures. They are definitely cooler than I thought they would be. And then the sparkly shade, which feels glittery to me, and I might use a eye product to put that on with. All right, let's see how they're described here. Shade 1, soft cream with matte. 2, neutral taupe with matte. 3, deep gray brown with a satin. 4, warm brown with a matte finish. 5, deep burgundy with a matte finish. And then the sparkle one is sparkling warm taupe with a shimmer. I would agree that this is like a deep burgundy. I know it looks brown, and it is brown, but it's got a purple. Undertone to it. So let's do an eye look and see how it works on the eye. All right, first let's take that cream shade that I said would be great for the brow bone and do just that with it. Okay, believe it or not, that's on my brow area. It's here and here. It literally is the same tone as my skin, which is just really funny actually, because I don't find too many shades that are like the same color as my skin. Usually when it's, you know, brow bone or an inner corner, it's like a little bit lighter or more sparkly or something. Sparkly. Like how I said that? Sparkly. But this one is literally like my skin tone, which is which is fine, but just, yeah. All right, so then let's take the, what did he called it? Shade 2, which is the top middle. It's a neutral taupe with a matte finish, and let's create a bit of transition. Okay, transition's done. By the way, I'm using the new Sydney Grace brushes. I've been trying them out for a little bit to see how they work. So far, so good. Pretty happy with them, but wanted to mention that those are the brushes I'm using. All right, so then the top right shade, the deep gray brown with a satin finish. We're gonna take that and just put it on this outer corner here. Haven't buffed it in, but just have it out here like that, which looks really nice. We're gonna take the warm brown, which is the shade here. We're gonna go a little bit into that transition. Not all the way in though. Just going in, nothing on my brush. Okay. Now let's take the deepest shade, the burgundy-ish shade, and I'm gonna sort of stamp that a little bit along the lash line here, but in a thick way, like not in a thin way. You'll see what I mean. Just on the outer corner of the eye, and then I'll brush it in. It's gonna look a little thick for now, but you'll see when I put the sparkle over it, when I put the sparkle over it, I think it's gonna be negated, so. Okay, good. Now let's take that shade and just, literally I'm just putting it right in the corner. Okay, now I'm gonna take that taupey shade, lightly put it on the eye, not putting a lot on the lid, just a little bit before we put the sparkle shade on top. All right, let's try the sparkle shade by itself. Okay, I think that's pretty by itself, but let's see if we can get some more oomph out of it. Okay, let's use a brush and see. Yeah, we can definitely get more. And I'm stamping it on, I'm pressing it on. Okay, and then I'll go back in with the deeper brown shade, not the burgundy shade. Yeah, that looks really nice. Okay, let me clean up the under eye before we try out the pencil. So I'm gonna do the pencil on the lower lash line and the upper lash line, and I'm gonna definitely smoke this out because that's the whole point of this look. All right, let's take a brush and smoke that out. So here's the final look. Definitely, you know, a smoky, beautiful look. Let me put on a little bit of mascara and then we'll talk about what I think about this one. I'll show you the other Wayne Goss palettes that I have so you can see the difference. And let me talk a little bit about the comparison to a palette that the color story kind of reminds me of. Back with mascara on. I have to say, I think it's a really pretty look. I think it's a very neutral, cool, smoky look. And I think the formula performed the way that all of his formulas have performed. There are 6 shades in here. It is 0.57 ounces, which I think is the same as the ones before. Let me just check. It has 24-month shelf life. So he has 4 palettes: Imperial Topaz, Pearl, Smoky Quartz, and Tourmaline. Smoky Quartz is the one that we just used. And then the other ones I have are Imperial Topaz, which looks like this. Similar color story, but this one of course has the black in it, and it is much warmer toned. This has more of that cool, almost gray, taupey kind of thing. And then I have the Pearl Moonstone. I do not have the Tourmaline. And this is a very different. This is a very cool, very gray blue palette. Of the 3, actually this one's my favorite. I like that really blue sparkly shade, that one. That's like one of my favorites. I tend to use it with the Pat McGrath, what is it actually called? It's the wand. It's that miracle wand, artistry wand, which is basically like glitter glue. That's what I use for those shades in the Wayne Goss palettes and in a lot of other palettes because I just feel like it gives it more intensity. I just think it looks better on the eye. What I would say though is I think this one is good. I think it's pretty. It's just I'll be honest, I'm not really bowled away by it. I just think it's like really nice. And if you don't have any of these shades in your collection, then absolutely, I would recommend picking it up because I think the formula is good. What I was kind of hoping it would be more like when I was looking at the color story was Tom Ford's Coco Mirage. And Coco Mirage, I'm still hoping that Tom Ford comes out with it again. You know, his new formulas actually are the same, or at least they seem the same as like what Coco Mirage was. But that's what I was hoping for these 4 shades here. You can kind of see there's similarity. If I can get this to work. Okay, come on, work with me here. Those 4 shades and these 4 shades, I thought, you know, there was some similarity there. And there's some, but the formula in the Tom Ford versus the Wayne Goss, like this is the Tom Ford, you can just see the intensity in just the matte creaminess of the color. Like the intensity is just, I can't even, it's just, you know. And the same with like all the other shades. They are similar, but this is the Tom Ford. Here's the Wayne Goss. Just see how like dense it is with the Tom Ford one. I will say the color story, it is similar. Tom Ford, Wayne Goss. And the last shade, you can see the shades are similar. Here's the Tom Ford, but the formula is not the same. So I'll say this, if you're looking for a similar color story to Coco Mirage, this is certainly it. These 4 shades over here, the matte shades. They are very similar. You just saw me, you know, do the finger swatches. They're very similar in nature to the color of Coco Mirage, which I do love. It's like my favorite quad ever. But the formula is not Tom Ford's Coco Mirage. It's not a bad formula. It's a good formula, but it's not Tom Ford. So I'd say this. I'm happy to have it because I do like the color story because again, I have the Tom Ford. I love that color story. I just don't think it's my favorite. It's a good palette. My other thing is these very large pans. I know the idea is you could fit any brush in here so you can use it for anything, but I'm not going to use that much. So the big pans don't really necessarily appeal to me. What appeals to me is something a little bit more compact so I can travel better with it. But again, that's me. That's a personal thing. That's taste. So you just have to decide what you like. The pencil, I actually like these pencils. They are drier, like I said, than some of my other pencils. So they're not like the Chanel ones. They're not gel-like. They're kohl pencils. The thing I would say about this shade, though, it is an unusual shade because this granite shade, it is a gray, and the more you smoke it out, the wider you get with it. I made it really wide. You can see how gray it is, granite it is. And that is, I'm just getting a little smudger brush. Hold on just one second. And that shade is unusual. I have gray pencils, don't get me wrong, but that particular type of gray, I don't really have. It really is like a charcoal, like a granite. So that's an unusual shade. And I like it. Because I don't have anything like it, I don't think. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have grays, but I think the grays I have are like more of like a bluish gray or more of a purplish gray. This is like a cement granite gray, which I don't think I have. I'll have to look at all my grays and do some comparisons, but I think that's a relatively unusual, shade. And you can see because it's a kohl pencil how you can blend it out. You can basically turn this into, you know, a shadow if you wanted to, especially for like more of a dramatic line. If you wanted to turn this look into like a cat eye and you wanted to use this pencil to do it, you could absolutely do that. You could take, I lost the pencil already. You could take it like this and, you know, draw a line and then smudge it out So I do like the pencil. I do think it's a good kohl pencil. But like I said, they're drier pencils. So if you like a really smooth, like glide on kind of pencil, these aren't for you. Overall, good palette. I think the color story is very much like Coco Mirage. Formula is not the same as Coco Mirage, but it is the same color story basically. And if you like that, and of course Coco Mirage doesn't currently exist, so it's the closest I've seen when it comes to color story. And the formula is good. It's like the other palettes that I have. Yeah, I think it's good formula, pretty color story, reasonable price point, a lot of product for, you know, what you're paying. And yeah, so I think this is probably one of his most usable palettes. I think a lot of people will like the color story and the look that it gives. I think that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in another video really soon. Bye.